everyone. So for today's video, it is basically going to be all about POTS and just giving you all of my tips and tricks and advice for living with POTS. So this is for my fellow POTSies out there who are looking for some advice or tips and tricks on living with POTS. So before we get into this video, don't forget to stop what you're doing and subscribe to turn on the camera, and don't forget to turn on that bell so that you know whenever I upload. So let's just get right on into this video. I really wanted to film this video in October because October is Dysautonomia Awareness Month, but life happened and here we are. But yeah, in case you don't know what POTS is, it stands for Postural Orthostatic Tachycardia Syndrome. So basically, if you stand up for too long, blood pools in your legs because it doesn't regulate properly, so your heart beats faster and harder to overcompensate for it, and that can cause blood to leave your head because it's pooling in your legs and your heart's working harder to try to correct that, but it doesn't correct properly, and then you could potentially pass out. As well as if you have a postural change, so if you like go from laying down to standing up too quickly, you don't adjust properly and you could pass out. So, and then there's also a lot of other stuff that goes along with it, and there's a lot of other side effects from POTS like headaches, fatigue, digestion issues. The list is honestly endless. If you want to hear my POTS diagnosis story, the video will be linked in the card above. But yeah, this video is basically all about what I've learned and then my tips, tricks, and advice on handling and dealing with POTS. So I hope this video is helpful because it's been so highly requested. So yeah, let's just get right on into it. Once you get your POTS diagnosis, like the more you'll be able to learn your body and learn what your personal symptoms are, because this is all from my personal experience, and everyone with POTS has different experiences and diagnosis stories and like different experiences and symptoms. Like it's different for everyone. So this is all just disclaimer right here. This is all just my personal experience and my personal tips, but I really do hope that they're helpful for other people out there who are struggling with POTS.
And also, I am not a medical professional, so please take these tips with like a grain of salt. Always listen to your doctor and what they tell you to do. Like, I'm not a medical professional. As I said, this is just my personal experiences with POTS and some things that have like personally helped me. So I hope that they can help other people, but yeah, I am not a medical professional. Disclaimer.
So my first tip is to leave extra time in the morning, because what I have to do is I have to set an alarm at least 5 minutes before I like actually want to get up, because I have to sit up so I can start to do my postural change in the morning. So I have to sit up before I can stand up. So I have to leave extra time for that in the morning to actually adjust my postural change so that I don't pass out. Leave extra time in the morning so that you can adjust properly without putting more harm and stress on your body. So tip number 2 is to inform the people around you so that they know how to properly help you when you pass out. So my friends always elevate my legs because you want to get the blood back to your head. Yeah. And then also have a POP, have a pass out plan. So have a code word if you can get it out, or have a body language or just signs that you can give your friends so that they know you're passing out, so that they can like grab you and help you, and have a pass out plan, and make sure your friends and family are properly informed so that they can help you and so that they can like raise your legs and help you if you do pass out. My third tip is to stay hydrated. This is so important, but definitely try to stay hydrated. Drink a ton of water. I've been drinking a crap ton of water, but then also sometimes it's good to have Gatorade or something with electrolytes or a sports drink, because you need to like replenish yourself. So make sure you have water, but also make sure you drink some sports drinks if you need some extra electrolytes or sodium or more hydration. Staying hydrated is super important in management with POTS, as well as salt. So increasing your sodium is another huge thing to help manage your POTS, and there's a few ways you can do this. You can do this with salty snacks, keep carrying around like a salty snack here and there. This is also a tip, like carry around salty foods. I always try to have crackers or something I can snack on in my backpack just in case I'm feeling off. I can eat something salty, and a lot of times it does help. I do also take salt tablets. This is the one that I take. It's Thermotab's Electrolyte Replacement Buffered Salt Supplement. These are the pills that I take. I order them from Amazon, and yep, these help a lot. I try to take one with every meal because I do sometimes get an upset stomach if I take it without food on board. But salt tablets are a great way to keep your salt up. Eat a lot of salt, drink a lot of water, stay hydrated, stay salty, because the salt will help you retain the fluids better. So the next fun thing about POTS is that I don't adjust well to temperatures. Like, I am very heat and cool intolerant, and I jump around from temperature to temperature all the freaking time. Like, I'm getting hot right now. My temperature fluctuates so much, so layering and heated blankets will be your best friend. In the winter, I'm pretty much always cold, but I still have hot flashes and stuff. But anyway, a heated blanket is a great way where you can just crawl under if you're feeling really cold, as well as layering is a best friend because it's probably gonna be cold outside, so you wanna layer up, and then you wanna be able to take off those layers if you get hot. So make sure you are wearing appropriate stuff underneath so that you can take off layers if you need to, because like I said, I don't moderate temperature well. So the next thing is to try to do small, frequent meals, because some people, not all people, but some people who struggle with POTS, if you eat a really big meal, that makes blood rush to your stomach to help digest it, and that means that the blood is down here, not here, which could potentially cause issues if you're getting my gist. But yeah, try to do smaller meals more frequently to help like a big bowel movement, because that could potentially cause issues. My next tip is compression socks. I will link these down below. I'm pretty sure they're from Amazon. HLT Pro sent me these, I believe. So if you don't know what compression socks are, they're basically, they look like normal socks. They're tighter around your legs, so it helps with blood flow, and it helps to try to keep blood flowing so it doesn't pool. That's why they're tighter, and that's why they help, because they help with circulation. Sometimes I wear these working out, and if I'm gonna be standing for long periods of time, I will try to wear compression socks, because they really do help. I wore these every single day over the summer as an orientation leader, and I think it's the only thing that helped me manage like my standing and my long days as an orientation leader, is wearing compression socks, because it didn't really let blood pool in my legs as much as it would without. So the next tip is to elevate your legs or sit whenever you can. So if you're ever feeling dizzy or you're getting your pre-syncope symptoms, which if you do have POTS, you probably know what those are. Like for me, my pre-syncope symptoms are typically, I get really hot, I get nauseous, things get like fuzzy, and sound kind of goes, and it's just kind of like slowly like dwindles. But those are my pre-syncope symptoms, and I get really dizzy and lightheaded, and yeah, it's not fun. But yeah, if you are experiencing your pre-syncope symptoms, if you are experiencing your pre-syncope symptoms, make sure you sit down. Like whatever you're doing, just sit. Like sit, lay down, like whatever you can do to help yourself not pass out, because we don't want to do that. Yeah, I sit down a lot of times, like in between classes, like if I'm walking up a hill, like it's tiring. I have random spots on my way to classes. Like I have set spots en route to every single class that I go to where I can sit down if I need to, because I know that I might need to sit. It is frustrating sometimes, especially when I'm running late to a class and I have to sit down before I can get to it. Elevating your legs is always good, because that gets blood back to your head. So a lot of times I'll sit and put my legs up on a chair, or lay and put my legs up against a wall, just like when I pass out, my friends put my legs up. Elevating your legs is always good, because blood is not in your head where it should be if you're experiencing syncope. So the next one, I luckily didn't really have to do this, but I know a lot of people who have experiences with POTS who it's taken years to get a diagnosis, because doctors, one, aren't familiar with it, and two, just they're not really educated about it. And a lot of people have to really push for a POTS diagnosis, because it's still very new and we're still learning more about it, but a lot of doctors don't know about it, so a lot of doctors will just like assume nothing's wrong. But honestly, there's a whole issue and a whole dysautonomic world of issues. I'm lucky that my cardiologist and everything like knew what POTS is, and he gave me like a whole pamphlet when I got diagnosed after my tilt table test, which if you watch that video, you'll know all about. If you really do think you're experiencing POTS and your doctor isn't even willing to consider it, like find a new doctor. Like there's always help out there. Fight for an answer with your doctor so that you can properly treat yourself. And I also forgot to mention there are other medications, like I know some people on beta blockers, like there's other medications to help manage POTS symptoms. I'm still considering going to see a POTS specialist, because I'm mostly over the fatigue. The fatigue is the worst freaking part of POTS. I'm always tired. I'm always so freaking tired, and I don't know how I find the energy to function how I do. Like in school, in the gym, at work, like I don't know how the fatigue is absolutely insane, and I'm so over it. That's the one thing I definitely have not learned how to manage yet, but I'm working on it. So next is shower tips, because when you're in hot situations, you are more prone to having POTS episodes, because the heat makes you sweat more, which means you already don't retain fluids like how you're supposed to, which is why you gotta take salt so that you hold on to your fluids. But when you're hot, you're sweating more. I sweat a ton because I don't retain my fluids properly. So as you can assume, in a shower, especially a hot shower, that could cause issues. So I can't really take like scolding hot showers anymore, which is honestly really sad, because I love showers and I love hot showers. But I take a lot of baths, which is one tip. If you don't like baths, I have a few more, but I love taking baths because I can just lay there in the scalding hot water and I don't have to worry about fainting. And if I faint, I'm already laying down. It's great. I love baths for the sole purpose of it's my relaxation time where I can actually be in hot water and just relax without putting myself in danger of like passing out in the shower. And then my second tip is in showers, don't have your water scalding hot. The hotter the water is, the more likely, like a lot of times I notice my water's too hot because I can feel my heart racing and I'm like, oh no, and I have to turn the heat down and sit so that my heart can regulate. But yeah, I can't take hot showers, so don't be afraid to sit in your showers. I do that a lot, especially if you're not feeling good. It's better to sit than to pass out in the shower. But yeah, those are my shower tips. And then another tip is to try to exercise at least 30 minutes a day. This is so hard because of the fatigue. It can be really, really difficult, but it is good to get your blood pumping, blood circulating. It can really help. I don't really know why, but I've read research that says exercising does help a lot. I think it strengthens your heart. I love exercising because it helps with my anxiety. I try to exercise a little bit every day, even if it's just walking. Like, just walking can be hard enough for someone with POTS. Some people with POTS are in wheelchairs because it's so difficult. So do try to exercise if you have the ability to.
So I'm editing, and I just want to add in that I have found that throughout my year of dealing with this, year plus at this point, but I have found that the more I'm exercising, the more manageable my POTS is. Like, I've noticed that when I don't exercise, like right now I'm recovering still from my gallbladder surgery, and I couldn't work out for a month, and my POTS has been terrible because I haven't been working out. So like, I don't know what it is. I don't really know all the science behind it, but I do notice that my POTS is so much more manageable when I'm going to the gym.
There's also this thing called isometric exercises. It's basically contracting your muscles without moving, but it pushes blood back to your heart, so it really helps with circulation. So isometric exercise is also good because you can do it sitting down and you can just tension and loosen your muscles, and it can help with circulation. My next tip, I don't even do this, which I probably should, but it's just tip. Those fancy Apple Watches, they can monitor your heart rate. Fitbits, they can monitor your heart rate. If you have POTS, you should probably monitor your heart rate. I just take my pulse like this if I need to. Those watches are really fancy, and some of them even have fall alerts, so where if you fall, it'll notify like an emergency responder. But yeah, if you do have the money to get one of those fancy watches to monitor your heart rate, I'm sure it would be super helpful because you can notice what you're doing when your heart rate gets high, and it will like tell you. And yeah, those fancy watches are super nice for people with POTS because we're people who need to monitor our heart rate and be familiar with our heart rate so that we know when we're having issues, etc. But I do recommend those watches. It's still on my list. And then my last tip is for the palpitations part of POTS. Sometimes I get random palpitations, or if typically I get mine at the top of stairs. Like after walking a lot of stairs, I get really bad palpitations, so a lot of times I have to lay down or sit down and kind of let those happen. But something else that POTS can cause is POTS can increase anxiety. I had anxiety before I even got POTS, like before I even got my concussion and like started having issues with that. But POTS can increase anxiety because part of the syndrome is tachycardia, which is an increased heart rate, which can cause anxiety. So putting that on top of my previously existing anxiety is not fun and makes things a lot harder. But basically, deep breathing is super great to help manage that. And a lot of times it really helps when I'm having palpitations because it stresses me out when I have palpitations because I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? But deep breathing kind of helps. It can sometimes help slow the palpitations, and it can sometimes just help ease your mind so that you're not as stressing out about what's happening here, if that makes any sense. Deep breathing, I do it a lot. Alright y'all, well that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Comment below any video requests or questions if you do have POTS or if you think you have POTS. Let's start a conversation down below because the whole point of this video is to help raise awareness. That is always my goal with these videos, is to raise awareness so that more people know about POTS and so that more people can get help. That is it for this video. I love you all so much. Don't forget to stop watching and subscribe to join the family, and I will see you all in the next video. Love you. Bye.